11. Now, when does a trip to the Science Museum become more than just a trip? When you have to come back and share your findings with everyone. Well, 15 eco-ambassadors from Queensmead Primary School are doing just that today at a workshop in Braunston. Liga Orlovska and Marc Tench can tell us more. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so eco-ambassador, it sounds like a really important role. What does it entail, Liga?
Absolutely. So that's probably more question to Marc, because Marc working across the multiple different schools, not only Queensmead Primary Academy, with multiple eco-ambassadors doing great things regarding to supporting climate crisis, addressing climate crisis.
All right, Marc, go on then. What is an eco-ambassador?
Eco-ambassador changes in different schools, but currently the Sustainable Schools team at Leicester City Council, who I work for, we're working with most of the schools across the city, and in most of those schools they have a group, an eco-committee or an eco-warrior or an eco-ambassador group that are really working to make the school and sometimes even the local community a more sustainable, more sustainable in terms of the environment. So working on all sorts of different projects, whether that's to do with litter or reducing energy or increasing biodiversity. So it's probably quite big, I think, but they do all sorts of things, really, really sort of good sort of environmental work.
And are they elected representatives or do they volunteer themselves?
It varies again in each school, but at Queensmead in particular, they choose the students, I believe. So students sometimes that might need a little bit of confidence building and those types of things. But in some schools they might be elected. Some schools it might be one per class. Some schools it might be people putting themselves forward. So it's really sort of, it's really flexible, and it sort of depends on the needs and sort of priorities of the school, really.
And how does having, like I said, it sounds like a very serious title. How does that impact the children? I bet it's really empowering, Marc.
So a lot of what we in Leicester City Council, we really sort of promote eco schools, which is a global programme in about 80 different countries. Currently, Leicester has 52 schools with their Eco Schools Green Flag Award, which is by far the best of any local authority in England, which we're very proud of. We think it's probably going to be about 70 very soon as well at the end of this academic year. That's kind of something that they do. It really sort of it builds a lot of confidence within them. So it's not just about helping the environment and environmental action and those types of things. It's really, there's a lot of sort of leadership skills that go on. They have meetings, they hold minutes, they come up with an action plan, they carry out an environmental review within the school to see what they're doing well and what they can work on. It really does, as well as lots of practical things like planting trees and food growing and making posters to stick around the school to tell people to turn their lights off, and all sorts of different things. So I think it is really empowering. It really does sort of grow them in terms of their leadership skills and grow their own sort of personal skills. Yeah,
I'm having this mental image of these little people just holding minutes and having meetings and holding minutes. It's just adorable.
I'm not too sure it always happens like that, if I'm perfectly honest, because sometimes it's like, well, actually we don't want to sit and discuss things. Actually we want to get outside and go on a litter pick, or we want to go and whatever it is, and do something really exciting and things. But they have at the very least they'll have an environmental review where they look at it's about 100 questions really, what they're doing well and what they're not doing so well at, and they come up with an action plan, and that's 3 specific actions relating to different topics, and they have to monitor it as well. So sometimes they are sat around a table having discussions.
All right, so Liga, tell us about the project and how did it all come together?
Absolutely. So it Together for Our Planet is a partnership project between Buzzing Roots and Queensmead Primary Academy and Sustainable Schools presented by Leicester City Council. And we have worked so far in walled gardens at Bronson Park with horticulture specialists about looking into which plants getting distinct, as well as working with insect scientists, looking into how we can protect wildlife. And today we are expecting our eco-ambassadors coming and telling about what our future planet holds. And that's what they're investigating in their trip to the London Science Museum, where they find out about how science can support and solve climate crisis problems. And that's what they're going to be presenting today. We're going to be back at Walled Garden as well on Saturday, 6th August, where we'll be working with ethical fashion designer, and on Saturday, 10th of September, which is our final event, where we'll be looking into energy and water problems, how climate crisis affecting these areas.
Liga,
That's the project we are currently working at here today.
I remember being at school and going on school trips, and it was basically just a DOS day where you didn't have to do much work, you just have fun. But this is obviously very important because they've got to come back and report their findings. Do you know how that visit to the London Science Museum went?
It went brilliantly. Children made a lot of notes, and we had as well videographer with us. So the children will be sharing it to the community and their families, their findings today at Walled Garden, as well as we will be sharing videos of them sharing what they find out and how they feel about our future planet and why it is important to care about our future planet. And I think it was a brilliant opportunity for the children to see as well science as an area for them to maybe work in the future, seeing the ways how science can solve environmental problems, investigate how new technologies can help us to solve these problems.
Now, I know you're doing some incredible work with Buzzing Roots, Liga. How can people stay up to date with that online?
Yes, so they can look into our website, so they can buzzingroots.co.uk, as well as we are on Instagram and Facebook, which handles are Buzzing Roots, as well as on Twitter, which again is Buzzing Roots.
And Marc, is there a website or social media handles that we can follow as well for some of the work that you're doing within at the Leicester City Council Sustainable Schools?
Yeah, we've got an Instagram and a Facebook and Twitter account as well. So Eco Schools LCC is the Twitter anyway. So you can see all the different things that we're doing across the city, including working with Buzzing Roots, but lots and lots of other different projects that we're working on with other partners as well.
Liga and Marc, thank you so much for your time this morning and all the best for the sharing. That was Liga Orlovska from Buzzing Roots and Marc Tench, Education Officer in the Sustainable Schools team at Leicester City Council. It's 19 minutes past 11.